here on YouTube, Natural Connection with the Shaman. I'm your host, Shaman Grey Wolf, and I'm here with my co-host Jamie Jette. And today we're going to talk a little bit about Christmas, just different outlooks and perspectives on Christmas and what it's really about. So, without further ado, let me introduce Jamie Jette. Hello, Jamie.
Hi there. Sorry, I was, I'm just like a busy little elf like everybody else, I suppose.
Right.
Figured this little contraption out. But hi, everyone. Welcome. Yeah, John and I thought we'd kind of give a little different perspective.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So, well, first of all, I wanted to say, everybody in the chat, please send, or anybody who's watching and watches this after, please send prayers for Jamie Jette's father's friend who just was lost at sea by a shark.
yeah.
Yeah, so we heard that unfortunate news last night. So we'd like to send prayers and healing energy to her father and the family members of, hello, Cheryl, of all that were involved. And Jamie has some interesting information about the Christmas story about the manger. Did you get all that to share?
Well, it was 32 pages, but I just kind of wanted Sunday at the Center for Spiritual Living on Rancho. This Reverend who's now joined us from Agape in California, Reverend Cynthia Ambrose, she shared a story about the mystic the birth of the manger. I kind of brought this up. I don't know if you can see it with the star. It's a lovely depiction of the birth, and she calls it the birth of Yeshua.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really lovely. But in the mystical part, she broke it down what the different elements are in the metaphysical meaning. Now we're going to step outside of the box of the Christianity and the Catholicism and the other ones that, and I know there's some religions that don't believe that the Christ has been born because the Christ is within us once we wake up to that.
Yeah.
But I thought it was lovely. Taken as a whole, the Nativity story illustrates the birth of your divine identity. I love that.
Yeah.
And so Yeshua represents the little baby in the manger represents your Christ nature. Mary represents the feminine, which is your intuition and receptivity. Joshua represents the masculine side, which is your grounded, protective masculine. The Magi is your higher wisdom. The gifts, frankincense, myrrh, and um, uh, gold,
Yeah.
represents identity, vision, and transformation. And the three wise men represent the pilgrims, which is your evolving parts to seeking the truth. So I thought that was really interesting that the star they were looking for the light, following the light, if you will. I love that. The
Yeah.
star is your higher guidance. So when we tap in to that guidance that is always with us from first breath to last breath, I thought that was lovely. And then the manger that the Christ or our child, our Christ nature rests upon is right here at our heart. The manger itself sense the heart. I just thought that was so spectacular. So I don't think I'm going to look at, it's a beautiful rendition. I love this gift that someone gifted me, but it turned it totally around. So I was able to embody it. So thank you for letting me share that.
Of
Because
course.
I thought it was different. It's not outside of us.
No.
It's behind here.
Yeah, nothing is ever outside of us. It's all, even everything that I study and I look through with religions and magic and mysticism, and even all the Vedic Hindu mythologies about chakras and meridians. It all lines up to where it shows that religions, they weren't they weren't so much hiding information from us because they were putting it right out there. They were just leaving it out there for the select few who could have eyes to see and ears to hear. You know that parable, right? So if they were to give this information to everyone, imagine the massive culture shock it would give the whole entire, especially back then, like if today we have technology and we're all open and aware, and it's a little bit easier to swallow because over the generations or millennia it's been broken down to us little by little by little. So it is, all the stories are within, and all within refers to astrology, which is what Yule is all about. So you know how I'm always saying December 22nd is the winter solstice, right?
Mm.
Because I was doing a little investigating this morning, and it's because in the Yule tradition, December 22nd is the winter solstice, because for 3 days from that point on, the sun doesn't rise above the horizon. It comes up, but it stays at a certain level of the horizon for 3 days: 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th. Then the 25th, they begin to burn a Yule log and start giving gifts for 12 days because it represents the sun being born again. So it's a lot of different, like all of it has to do with Yule actually is celebrated to keep hope through the long winter nights, to have hope and inspiration. And Odin was the original Santa Claus who rode his eight-legged horse, Sleipnir, like eight reindeer on the sleigh, across the sky, blessing those he favored. So who's naughty, who's nice, blessing those he favored. But it's all representations of keeping faith and hope throughout a time where back in the days, they didn't have modern technology. They needed fire to keep going, to stay warm in a freezing cold winter night. So it's all kind of everything, if you look at it, is metaphors.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I love how you say that. Bring the manger is right here at the heart. We see that it's all aligned to the sun and ancient traditions. So yeah,
Traditions are fun, but when we were talking, one that came up to me, and I believe I perhaps maybe because I'm getting older, my children are grown. They're not at home. They have their own families and their own lives in different states, and um, so Christmas has changed. But I remember I was sharing a story that came up that I remember when we were younger, it was always who could get the biggest Christmas tree or had the newest car or the prettiest lights on the on the house. It was always trying to keep up with the Joneses. And I was talking, as I told you yesterday, it was so nice getting older, and we are in a different time. And I'm really grateful that I'm in this time realm, is that we don't have to do that like the 50s and the 60s. And perhaps it's because they didn't have the technology and people were more aware of themselves that, you know what, you're just enough just being you.
yeah,
But the 50s and the 60s and the 70s, I'm thinking the stars were different, and there was a lot of planetary uprising, or maybe up up something raised the energy where people said, no, I don't have to have the biggest Christmas tree or the fanciest Christmas chinaware or have the most Christmas parties. I don't have to keep up with the Joneses anymore. It's kind of nice. um I was thinking about this too after talking with you. It's so liberating. And I said, okay, Jamie, where in my body does liberation feel? So then I broke it down. I thought, okay, liberation is a faux feeling, even though it's something I'm experiencing. Um, Liberation for me is a sense of freedom, a sense of peace, a sense of joy. Um, it's a sense of liberation. It's almost, I can imagine how a bird must feel just just flying and soaring in the sky. And what a exhilarating feeling to have a liberation feeling.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of cool. Yeah, there it was fun having all the Christmas parties and all the in Italian we call it gumechu, all that fancy sparkly stuff. Um, I don't it now. Um, it's so nice and soft just to watch nature, watch the birds, watch the trees lose their leaves,
Yeah.
watch the different bugs. Oh my God, a roadrunner came in my yard the other day. I mean, it was all about literally 6 inches from me. It kind of startled me. I startled it. But the beauty and the fantastic gift of that experience. So I'm so glad that Christmas isn't about keeping up the Joneses. It's about the experience. So I just wanted to see. I mean, all of us have great memories, of Annie Velda's house or Golu's laughter. But
Yeah.
maybe it would be fun if your viewers could write in there what was their favorite Christmas experience that they didn't have to keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah. Yeah. If you guys, for you guys out there in the chat, or for you watching later, put in the comments, put down what your favorite Christmas experience was. Cheryl says we hung out with one for about a half an hour once. He followed us on a hike.
Yeah, I think the Roadrunners are really curious birds.
Oh, the Roadrunner. Okay. Yeah, you know what? I've seen Roadrunners. One time me and Cheryl went out to go for a hike, and a Roadrunner just came right up to us and was just hanging out with us. Is that what you were talking about? Yeah, yeah, okay. That's what she's talking about. It was cool. It came right up to us. We were just hanging out with it. When we went on a hike, it started following us. One year when I lived on the top of the mountain in the cabin, we had an ice storm. It was the first year I couldn't spend with my family, but my neighbors and I all got together and spent the day in our amazing pajamas. It was an amazing day. See, that's exactly like those are some of my favorite things. I remember, of course, when I was a dad, dressing up as Santa Claus in the middle of the night and putting the clothes out and having my ex-wife bring the kids in the hallway and go, look, it's Santa. That was awesome. And spending time with moms and dads, ham, dinner. I've always thought that Christmas was just about the gathering. And I have, people do, they go to such extents to try to give the most, right? When I see the heart in it, they're trying to give because they want to show their love. But and then you see how it can affect other people negatively. They're worried about, oh my God, is this going to be enough? I don't have enough. And that's just basically because media does influence our reality a lot. I did, I took a real estate class a long time ago, and they were talking about the evolution of the real estate wheel and how the holidays take a part in sales and all the marketing tactics. And after knowing that, I have never saw holidays the same again. After that, that's like, see, when we talk about liberation, that's a level of liberation. Before I had seen that real estate wheel, I was trapped in the dome, right? But then after watching that and realized that all of these mass marketing ideas of Easter and Valentine's and Christmas and Thanksgiving and all of them were market tactics to make us spend money chaotically, to, like, just like in September, they will bring on some kind of pandemic, or, because it's flu season, everybody's going to get sniffles because it's fall, right? So if people are getting sniffles and you start telling them that they've got some pandemic, they can stress out. And then when they stress out, they impulse buy. So that's an awakening. That's a liberated feeling. You break through, you're like, oh, wow, I never realized it. And I remembered myself hauling down the streets, like, the last day of before Christmas and everything, trying to gather gifts and hoping that I had enough and needing more, 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 more. And then after that realization, I'm sorry. I can't live like that no more.
Don't
That's
you
what
remember when we were kids, before we got probably I don't know what age I was when I have to buy my gifts. But don't you remember as a kid that we'd work on those little Christmas presents, and then we would be so tickled when our parents would open up the homemade present. That's why I really, really, really love homemade gifts now. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm grateful for all gifts because I honor the giver.
yeah.
Um, there's something, it's almost as if, and I don't know the scientific aspect or the possibility of the energy being in there, but the fact that it's homemade is so different. I mean, it's just like when you get a Christmas card in the mail and it has a long note in it, as opposed to an email one, because you want to save paper. Oh, you want to save paper, but yet you're you're still using paper bags to put your groceries in. So I don't know. I really love homemade presents. Those are the greatest, and for my heart, then I know that it tells me that I was thought of during that whole duration of the creation. Does that sound crazy?
Yeah.
It
No,
probably,
not crazy. It sounds that's exact. And you know what? That's what I did this year. And to not to everybody, but that's a lot of what I did this year. And to show that effort going into it and the magical practices that go into it, I recorded videos of me doing it. Well, just like, it's nothing fancy. It's just overhead and me doing them and then describing them afterwards and then giving a tarot reading. So when I give out the gifts, I'm going to send the video,
wow.
because it really does. It makes more. Now, as a kid, of course, or even as a young minded, immature adult, of course, you don't think that handmade gifts are valuable or treasure, but I see them and I'm like, wow, that really took effort and time, and it wasn't a gift card, or it wasn't an email. It wasn't this was on sale, 9.99, an impulse buy. It was literal love and attention put into the gift.
You,
So, and that's what the old tales of Santa in northern Norway. He was the shaman of a village, right? So, he would make gifts. He was a toy maker, magic wand makers, things like this, right? And he would go out on the same night, because they started 12 nights of gift giving on December 25th. So you know how we always thought the 12 days till the Christmas, it's from Christmas 12 days after till January 5th. And he would make toys for the kids because he was the shaman. He watched them in the tribe. And that was more meaningful to them because he actually paid attention to what they like, who they are, what their heart naturally does.
yeah,
So
yeah. it's you do feel an energy. I'm just gonna probably put it out there. My son, one of his favorite gifts, it wasn't all the different the Xbox or the my brothers used to have the Rock'em Sock'em robots and none of all that stuff. My son's favorite gift, I was kind of surprised when I was there last year in Monterey, and he says, "And look, Mom, I hung your gift." And he hung my gift. It has a crystal and it has feathers, so it's like an aura fluffer, because my son sees auras, people's auras. But I was so touched. And he says, "No, you don't understand. That meant so much to me because I know your heart and your creativity and everything, even tying the wire around the crystal to infuse the energy." So I was kind of taken back because he is only 31, but I thought, see, so then it was just like what you don't what you don't know that you don't know, and I didn't know that, so that was really nice. Yeah, I really do. If we took a poll or a consensus, that most people really would, because if we really wanted something, we go out and buy it.
Right.
But to have somebody genuinely make and create, even if it's on parchment paper, words from the heart of
Right.
the of you as a friend or you as a father or you as a brother, um the words, in the beginning, in that book, in the beginning was
The
the
word.
word.
Right.
Yeah. So it's really interesting. Even I don't know much about magic. I do know that apparently I was reading the witch several times, many moons ago. But I do know that the word is very powerful, and now we're knowing that our thoughts are powerful too. So we can say, "No, you're not allowed into my mind," and who invited you? Move along, move along. But
Right.
I really do believe that when we infuse our words on paper or in the gift, that I didn't have to go to Macy's and buy, that I didn't have to go to Nordstrom's and buy, and oh, those are lovely gifts.
Yeah.
There's something about a peanut butter covered toilet paper roll with seed on it, and you hang it from the tree. Because all of a sudden we just visualized it, and what did it do? It brought joy. And
Yeah.
that's the bridge to the liberation. That's the bridge to the other side. That's where I'm telling myself, the archangels and the mystics and the sages of long ago that are in the invisible right here are
Yeah.
saying, oh, huzzah, that they
Right.
get it. So the more joy, it's the bridge.
That's right. And like joy and love, they'll call it love. Like love is the way, love is the will, love is the law. What they mean is like in magic, you have to love what you're doing for it to work. So and what's more loving than experiencing joy when something works out? Like even when this morning, I was shuffling tarot cards, and I got in the Mother Mary deck, I got uh, the Lady of Love, of bringing love. And then I picked up another deck and boom, I got Mother Mary, unconditional love. So those are two synchronicities. So to me, that's magic. So it makes this joy like giddy little feeling. And the more you experience that, the more you experience that giddy feeling, the stronger your energy becomes and the more you will see magic in the world. The stronger your energy, the more when you put it into your little crafts. Like my mom, she is a creator. She makes
Mm.
everything you could imagine from what are they called again? Dream
What?
catchers.
Yeah,
From dream catchers to stuffed animals to blankets to quilts to dresses, she is a creator. And she's always around Christmas making little things. This year she made little stick man, and that to me has always had so much impact when you get one of those. And a lot of the kids, my brothers and sisters too, but her grandkids, as they get older, they're in this modern age of, you know, fast, 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 gimme, 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 instant gratification. Not all of them see that, but some of the grandchildren still do see it. It's nice to see it go down in generations. But yeah, you can see the keep up with the Joneses in a lot of people. Like, yeah, the
Yeah.
big tree, the biggest star, who's got I bought myself or my wife a brand new diamond ring, which is nice if it comes from the heart. But if it's one of those things like I keep telling you, there's a movie called Keeping Up with the Joneses, and it's
Yeah.
got Demi Moore and that guy who played Fox Mulder in the X-Files in it. It is a great eye-opening movie to watch.
Yep, I'm telling you. Um, yeah, it's almost funny, and I like it puts, if it kind of is a gear shifter to put your things into a different perspective. Um, I watched a movie last night, and I believe you and Cheryl have seen it. And one of the, gals from Life Reflection Cafe, my weekly, um, gathering of elders and people that wanna talk or perhaps going through grieving, she said, "I want you to see this movie. It is so good, and it's called Inner Worlds and Outer Worlds."
Yes.
You and Cheryl did not stress the magnificence of. I was like, "Oh my God, I have lived long enough to be able to, um, have things that have been in my heart answered, that I knew that there's something different. I knew that there was more." So anybody, and Bob didn't pay for it, by the way.
Oh,
Everyone to Amazon Prime. He just went to YouTube and I said, "Are you sure it's the same one?" It's the same one. We watched it
oh
for
yeah.
free. It's a 2-hour movie. Oh my God. If your heart has having questions of the chaos and all the blah, 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 politics, all this. Let me tell you, this has been going on since the Roman days,
Yeah.
this political stuff. Wake up. This is not new, just different players. But if you want to step inside of a space of miraculous truth, watch that watch
Yeah.
that movie. I'm telling you, I was blown away. And maybe you and Cheryl told me to watch it, but Inner Worlds, Outer
Outer
Worlds.
World. That is one of the best documentaries I've ever watched. It is. I knew you were gonna love it. And I was watching a documentary last night too. I'm really big on, if I'm not watching cartoons, I'm watching documentaries when I'm by myself. And just another kind of eye opener. I was watching a documentary last night about microcosms, macrocosms, right? And it's talking about how we're on the earth and, the insects are really small, and you go down into like plankton and amoebas and they're even smaller. And then there's microscopic beings, right? And that we're so large that most insects don't even see us. We're so large that any plankton or amoeba would never even see us. Whereas, like, we see a whale, it's large, right? But imagine a being, fourth dimensional being, so large right here that we can't even see it. And it brought into mind like the understanding of looking at the fourth dimension like this, because the fourth dimension is right where our angels are, what we call angels, right? It's just a higher or ascended dimension. And it's equivalent to putting a drop of lake water on a slide and putting it under a microscope. When you're looking under a microscope, you can see in and through all things, right? So imagine for fourth dimensional beings, they're kind of looking at us as if through a microscope, and they can see through all things, feel and hear and sensations. It was kind of interesting, but it would go along really well with inner worlds, outer worlds, because that dives into that a lot too. Everything that you experience on your outer world, just try it. Just try it. Try cleaning up your inner world. And if you don't see a change within 3 moon cycles, then fine, leave it alone, but you will. You start changing your inner world, your outer reality, it does. It mirrors. It's beautiful. You
Yeah.
were talking about, Roman days, right?
Yeah.
So, December. December means 10th month in Latin.
Mhm.
So there was never a 12th month until I forgot which emperor, but he added January and February. And you can see the proof in it by September, 7th month, October, 8th month, November, 9th month,
Mm.
December, 10th month. So when we're looking at all of these things, a lot of the keeping up with the Joneses right here, that awareness that you understand that this is the 10th month and not the 12th. We're missing a whole gap of why they put that in there. Everything has been fabricated for you to overreact, be overstimulated, want extra, do things that, just put you right in the drainage pit. So think about that next time you're out shopping and you're trying to murder somebody over a Tickle Me Elmo. Remember that?
I didn't want to murder. I was just like a thief in the night when I got my Tickle Me Elmo. I was like, oh my God, I really got one. Oh, yeah, I remember that feeling. So, and there were a lot of people. Thank you for the hell. That was a hilarious time. Thank you for that memory.
Man, I had my kids and I'm like, I'm not going out to murder people for no Tickle Me Elmo. If there's none on the shelves, they ain't getting one. I'll get it in March.
With all that mesmeric media, how in the hell did our children hear or know about a Tickle Me Elmo?
Right? Yeah. And the
I didn't
pump up.
that fire. That it wasn't a my grandparents' day over Christmas dinner. We never talked about it, so that was media. You're right. Thank you.
Yeah.
That was um, uh, hysteria, excitement. Got to go out and get it, just like the Joneses. Yeah, great, great.
And it's when you look at it like that, we're also looking, like I said, in September, they usually come up with some pandemic or some illness or something crazy going on, right? So think about this: when the biggest pandemic we've ever thought of happened, why in the hell you're going to be quarantined would you care about toilet paper and hand sanitizer? Would you not be thinking about water, food, resources? But no, those were the Tickle Me Elmos of that September. It's all. I wish I still remembered the name of that class I took. That was a real estate class. Because once you learn the wheel and you see where people pull on your heartstrings and pull on your insecurities and pull on your emotions to make you dance, you see that you're a marionette and you don't want to have these strings connected to you. And it helps. I don't say it to like demean or Christmas because I really love the families getting together. I really love how people are caring and want to share and gift others. So I don't want to knock it, but when we're talking about Tickle Me Elmos and I don't know what the latest fashion thing is, but those Joneses mentalities, just, try to bring some awareness to yourself so that you don't overspend or the expectation. Now, what happens when you overspend on a gift and you give that gift to somebody and you get a very minimal reaction. Oh, it's like a knife to the heart, right?
Yeah.
And we don't want any of that. We want that family bonding, that Christmas ham, that laughing and joking, mom's fudge, all that good feeling.
Yeah. I could probably name on maybe in my 68 years, on two hands, maybe three of gifts that I remember that were so, to this day, I remember them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, maybe I was just at a different time, a different expectation. Um, yeah, I mean, I was in my 20s and I was dating this gentleman, and the woman knew that I loved to sew. And the greatest little gift is I got these little itty bitty scissors in a leather case. It wasn't just, it was a really nice, and I thought, wow, what a thoughtful gift. She actually remembered a conversation how much I loved to hand sew and embroider.
Yeah.
And that was one. And of course, when you're a kid, my red mini dress with my white go-go boots. I think I was in fourth grade. Oh, I thought I had died and gone to heaven that my mom spent that money and got me a Christmas dress and white go-go boots.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. Like, I remember one year, our daughter, she was the furred boots. I don't remember what they call them too, but it was a big Mariah Carey thing. Furry boots and a furry jacket, right? Well, she had been bothering us, like pestering us, and she was young. I think only second or third grade. She wanted those furry boots and furry jackets so much. And then when we finally could afford them on Christmas, I had gotten her the fur boots and the fur jacket. They were out of style. How did I know? I didn't know they were out of style. She opens them up for Christmas and she's just like, ugh. And I'm like, no, yeah, that's the kind of shit.
Oh, well, I guess there's no expectation.
Yeah,
And I thought we were very poor. I knew my mom's budget, and so I guess that was surprising. But there were some other nice things. But all in all, I just think it is the community, the gatherings, all the food, the laughter, the full tummies. Um, it's and Bob had mentioned this the other day. He says, "Isn't it something, Jamie, that just for one day a year, only the one, that we collectively and consciously um, have a step down from the from the survival, from the, it's almost like we step down and we just are in that energy, the collective conscious energy throughout the world on the one day of peace, of joy, of uh, it's a warmth in the heart." And he said, "Wouldn't it be amazing if we could celebrate every day with that global consciousness of stepping down off of that fighting ring, the the it's mine. No, it's not yours. It's mine. No, it's mine. It's an ownership again. There we go with that ownership. Whereas really, if I had, uh, I mean, I could hit them over the head with a 2x4 and they still ain't going to listen because it's part of their genetic DNA that they believe that it's theirs. They own it.
yeah,
And it's interesting that, or maybe it's happening more, but when you transition, all
yeah,
that stuff is so irrelevant.
exactly. Yeah,
All, all that anger, all that of that one day of stepping down like we do on Christmas, and we see our brother, and we love our brother like we love ourselves. What is that? There's two things. Love God on all highs. There's some commands, but I just think there could two little golden rules. Do unto others as you want done unto you. Boy, that one really was easy.
Yeah.
I called one old man out, love your neighbor as yourself. I said, how can I do that when I'm still learning to love myself?
Yeah.
So maybe just this Christmas when we sit down or right before we wake up, our eyes are kind of wiggling and we just say, right here, I'm going to give myself a big hug. I'm going to give myself a big hug for all the learning and all the experiencing I've been doing up until this very moment. And I'm going to just allow myself to just allow, float with like the clouds. Just for a few seconds Christmas morning before you get out of bed. And remember awesome that awesome feeling, because it's a feeling. It's it's a global. It somewhere it will come by you. If not the moment when you wake up, it will come by you sometime during that day.
Right. And you mentioned about growing up poor, right? And also the feeling of Christmas morning for all of those. I know we live in a society where to admit that you're just barely making it day to day is basically to be made fun of because you're not manifesting well enough. But there are so many people who barely make it meal to meal, paycheck to paycheck, and they're doing their best. Christmas morning and Christmas Day is their day to not worry about, oh, all the bills, or hey, we made this for each other. We decided to have a dinner today. It is a beautiful feeling to step down out of that mind. Like mine is basically ego, and it's more lack mentality to me than those who know that they're making it day to day. Because people who make it day to day, they value and appreciate everything. Thank God I got a paycheck this week. Thank God there's food in my fridge for my kids. Thank God I can get them new clothes for holidays or for school. And then that mind bullshit is like right around the blue collar kind of region where everybody's a little above poverty level but still fighting over what's the best. And then there's the upper middle class, which is keeping up with the Joneses. And then there's elite, where it's like, you know, they don't really give a shit either way. They have no idea. They wipe their ass with money. So the Christmas day is important for all levels because it does get you out of those mentalities. And one thing I always liked is how people, like when I had my kids, we went through periods of times where we were broke. And Christmas morning, we would wake up and we thought, we only had a little bit for our kids, and candlelighters or somebody would knock on the door with an entire van load of gifts for my kids. And like I would just start bawling because I had worked my hardest that year, made what I could that year. And when I worked, I didn't only work. I worked, I did side jobs, I hustled, I did illegal things just to get by with 4 children. And it still was very minimal for Christmas. There was only about, hmm, what was it? 2000, maybe 2004, 2005 till about 2010, where I was actually making really good money. And I really appreciated it. But before that, it was always paycheck, and you try to do the most you can for your kids. And I remember even trying to do anything outside of my family was a struggle. And to wake up those days with that door knock and to see all them presents come in for my kids, it was just moving. It's a time of giving. People see those struggling. I see people in the streets, and I know I used to talk with people in the street. And I know not all of them are there because of, oh, they're a terrible drug addict or this or that. There's a lot of poverty in the world, and we can deny it and pretend it doesn't exist and say, oh, well, they just don't know how to manifest. But isn't that keeping up with the Joneses?
Isn't that judgmental?
Huh?
Isn't that judgmental?
Exactly.
That I
Exactly.
mean, oh, what is that old saying? Why are you pulling the splinter out of my eye when you have a log in yours? Wow, that's so judgmental when somebody says you aren't manifesting. Ouch.
Yeah.
Ouch. First of
Ow.
all, we didn't even have the word manifesting back in the 70s. What the hell?
Right?
Have it in the 80s either. I'm just gonna say.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden it's the buzzword. Oh, you manifest? Oh, you don't manifest. Oh, what you think about, you bring about. I mean, on and on and on and on.
It's become the new opiate for the masses and the new shit coming out of people's mouths. Who, 9 times out of 10, when you see these people that are talking about manifesting so much, they live in poverty. They're lying. They're living in poverty, or they're renting a studio to do their YouTube podcasts in, or it is fake it till you make it. But yeah, we see, like, people in this world today, people need a little bit of encouragement, you know? A lot of families like me working for my kids all them years. I have kids now that have kids, and they do their damnedest, and my oldest son's doing very well. That took a lot of structure, and that took a lot of dedicated hard work and effort and saving and pinching and setting boundaries. So, you know, to those people who say that stuff like that judgmental stuff, I look at them as they've never had to be responsible for anyone more than themselves their entire life.
Well,
And
and how good job are they doing? I want to circle back on something you said
good.
that really was a light bulb for me, an idea for your viewers. Um, that when this knocks on the door, and I mean, I'm sitting here imagining that experience of having that joy with the knock on the door with those gifts for your children. Wowee.
Yeah.
There is something called unexpected income. And we used to carry this, so maybe people can do this. Just try it till the 5th of January to see what unexpected income is. And you had no idea, but we have these little business cards and we would write, oh, so and so asked me to go to lunch. That was unexpected income, an unexpected gift. These people knocking on your door with those gifts. Wow, the unexpected, man. I'm not one to get on my knees with gratitude. My gratitude pours out in other ways. So whatever your gratitude pours out, oh baby,
Yeah.
I invite you to see if that scientific vibration or that frequency creates a bridge for the joy, for more, opens the door that says, wow, this is amazing. And it's just like that old scientific magnet we've talked about.
Yeah.
Um, you're vibrating at such a frequency of gratitude. Gratitude feels joyful. And so, what is it going to do? It ain't going to pull in a lot of bullshit or chaos. It's going to, it's just like the little leads that get magnetized to a magnet. It's science.
Yeah.
It's very simple. So, with the little card, you just take a blank piece of paper, and anytime somebody invites you to lunch, wow, unexpected income. And if somebody buys you a cup of coffee, or if somebody says, hey, I thought about you today. Here is a beautiful Egyptian plate of copper. What way? I mean, we could go on and on and on. The more you fill up that white piece of paper, mark me, you shall be turning it over to write on the other side.
That's right. That's kind of exactly that unexpected feeling. Like it's really beautiful. I've experienced it, and it did. You just once you feel that great, you're not like you're not looking at people so us versus them. You're looking at people like, wow, that could have been somebody who knocked at my door with gifts from my kids, or it's there's a lot of love out there during this time of season. And it comes, if you go back into the ancient mythology of it, throughout Yule, the villagers had to come together to survive winters because winters were harsh, baby. That's how they got through. They'd all pull together, join their resources, shared their food and fire. It's a good feeling. So if you're out there and you're in the place, give to somebody. If you're out there and you're receiving something, Jamie makes a great point about that. When you receive, take time. Like, don't just, a lot of times you'll receive and then you'll just right away give it away or throw it away. Take some time to see the gratitude in all that's there for you. A lot can come around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I know you pulled a couple cards, but before we go, can you pull us some fresh ones, perhaps from the Cosmos? Do you have a Cosmo deck there?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great idea too.
We have enough of the worldly stuff going on. I kind of want to go out into the cosmos.
Yeah, right. Yeah. We did 3D. Now let's do 5D. Well, we'll do 4D, and then 5D. That's just how I kind of. Angels to me are in the fourth dimension. They're the closest to us. So we'll get something from the angels. Let me shuffle it up really quick. For those of you who have been waiting, this message will be for you. Waiting for some sort of knowledge. Knowledge about patterns. Okay, so maybe people who watch this video are going to go out and look for that real estate wheel. Once you recognize the patterns, you can't unsee it.
Rain for the next 3 days. Woohoo!
It's going to rain?
Yeah, or maybe they could go and dance in the rain and feel that joy and that exuberance.
Yes, yes, sir. Let's see. What do we got from the angels of the 4D? We've got numbers. We've got intuition 111.
Sweet.
And this says divine guidance flows through you with increasing clarity. But like any sacred instrument, your intuition sharpens with practice and attention. Listen closely, for the veil is thinner than you imagine. So tap
Mm.
into your intuition. And we were talking about on the shuffle, there was waiting for knowledge of patterns. So intuitively tap into any patterns that you've recognized over this year. If you journal, go through your journal and underline the patterns that you notice. These are your true keys. So don't want to take up too much of your time, but this right here, 111, really leads me to say that. That is the importance of journaling for me, because mostly when I journal, it's just like unconsciously or subconsciously, half in and half out, writing things down. And the magic happens when I go through my journals like every 6 months or so. That's when you see, oh my God, I grew in this area. Oh, wow, I really need work here. So you might want to tap into your intuition by finding some patterns in your life. And now we've got abundance 888. Those patterns are leading you to your abundance. Let's see what it has to say. Your willingness to resonate with abundance is the key to unlocking it. What did Jamie just say? Trust in the limitless generosity of the universe, for what you desire is already making its way to you. So, how Jamie was talking about that feeling of unexpected joy, unexpected income. Hold on to that for a minute. Think back to a time when that happened. Think back to that knock on the door and those Christmas presents, and let that feel in your heart, because that is the magnet. That is what magnetizes. That is abundance. And
Yeah.
now let's get from the 5D, the cosmos. This deck is kind of big. We've got reflection and crossroads. And you know what? I'm only going to shuffle this deck once. It's big. Okay, we got a lot of cards, but we got Assassin. So from the 5th dimension, we've got Assassin and Warrior Spirit at the bottom of the deck. Let's see what this says. Someone or something is scheming in the shadows, and the universe calls you to observe keenly like an assassin. In the coming days, hidden intentions will be revealed. You must decisively uncover the truth and take appropriate action. So, I feel this is going to come with your intuition and abundance. And it doesn't have to be such a doom and gloom thing. Your warrior spirit can just realize patterns that aren't serving you well. So with this assassin, you're observing things like an assassin. Maybe take that down a note and observe some patterns that didn't benefit you in your life, and stick to the ones that were that knock on the door. That's what we have for you from the cosmos and the angels.
The assassin also reminds me of just that last interesting how it's assassin. It's because this is the ninth, we're on the ninth year. It's the year of the closure. And for myself, the assassin, if I wasn't able, or I'm telling myself up until now I haven't been able to, I just know when you read that to me, it tells me I'm not alone. That something in the shadows that will help assist the truth to reveal itself. Because the truth is like a diamond. You cannot change. It will always reveal itself. So it's interesting how the assassin for myself is, yeah, it's going to be the helper for myself on this nine life, or this 9 year, which is a year of closure. And if there's just something that my humanness in the third dimension, I know in the fifth dimension, my back is covered.
That's right. And I didn't want to dive into that, but this whole week messages have been coming about that. There is a hidden enemy, so to speak, or people. And you know what? We were talking about keeping up with the Joneses, right? So there could always be somebody with a spiteful taste. And in my time, I mean, I try to be as compassionate as possible. Sometimes I get upset at people who are spiteful or negative. But as soon as I take myself away from the situation and I think about, why was this person behaving this way, or why this, you can understand that they're coming from some kind of hurt. So if there is a hidden enemy in your vicinity, look at them through the eyes of God, whatever you believe God to be. I'm not a preacher, but look at them through a higher 5-dimensional point of view. They're hurting in some way. And so that's not really an enemy, is it? That's really an injured person trying to do the best in their life. So take it as that and send compassion their way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because the angel of the week has been the Notoria angel Reyael. And Reyael's entire job is to protect you from harm and uncover hidden enemies so that you can flourish. And so it was no surprise that Assassin came up.
Say that again, because sometimes humans need to hear this 3 times. For us to do what? For us to flourish? Did I hear that?
Oh, yeah, to flourish. Yep,
for me 3 times so the viewers hear it.
that's right. Your guardian angel this week has been uncovering hidden enemies and protecting you from danger so you can flourish. Remember that.
Flourish. We can flourish.
That's right.
That means flower, baby. That means
Yeah,
bloom, not book.
that's right. Well, Jamie, it's been a great show, and thank you so much. And thank
Yeah.
you all for tuning in. Hello, holy moly. I love that. I love that yin yang symbol. Thank you. And let's see who else came. XB Hendrix and a whole bunch came in through the, but didn't. Anytime you can just drop a hello. Don't feel shy. Don't feel like you're not wanted. You're welcome. If you come in, go ahead and say hello, and we'll be happy to respond whenever we see that.
I
So,
know a lot of my friends are at work, so they just put their earbuds in. So I know that's why they're not responding.
oh,
But thank you so much. And always just know when everything gets rough outside, just remember to breathe. Breathe, taking those 3 life force breaths in, and it'll kind of just bring you right back into that place that feels good for oneself. So
that's being present. All
yeah,
right,
thank
everybody. Thank you so much. Take that inner breath and enjoy your Christmas holiday. I'll see you guys. Oh, yeah. I'll see you guys before the new year. All right. Take care. Bye bye now.